Hello everyone, my name is Jean and welcome back to my channel. Today we are in my city zoo and the first thing that you are seeing me do is deleting a whole bunch of stuff. To be exact, I deleted 3 habitats, the 3 entrance habitats, because they simply did not fit what I wanted in this zoo. Like, it didn't really fit my vision, so I just deleted them. And after that I had a bit of a period where I wasn't really sure how I want this zoo to go. Like, at one point I knew what direction I want to go, but I was just not really having any inspiration. So at first I was like, okay, let's start with a new path thing, like having a main path or something, like, because that's what I always try to do, have one path, so that I can go off of that. And I had something like that, you can see it here, and then I realized I wanted to have a bit more space here, because it was a bit not enough space for me. So I took the whole entrance and moved it somewhere else. It took me a bit while I was trying to figure out what or how exactly I want this to be, but I figured out how I wanted it to be, and now it's a perfect time to give you a little bit of an update tour on how the zoo is looking at this stage. So I am just showing you now everything that I've rebuilt or where I deleted stuff and there is nothing there yet. So I will not show you the untouched parts, like you can see them in the back. The platypus habitat, the bindworm habitat and the Pallas cat habitat are all 3 untouched, as well as you can see, all the old stuff from Luan also untouched, and my attempt at a giant otter habitat is also to be seen here. I wanted the surrounding area for the old tropical house to look a bit more simple, to blend better with the surrounding building, and therefore I opted for just a little meadow where we have llamas and alpacas on the one hand, and on the other side you can see a little lake with a lot of waterfall. And now we are coming back to the spot that I will be building today, and we are going to start the time lapse, and we will start building for the African penguin and a pair of southern rockhopper penguins. My first idea was to have the habitat a bit more below the guest, so that you would walk over some kind of bridge to go into the habitat basically, and you will see the penguins from above. But just telling you that now, I deleted all of this more or less, because in the end I didn't like the idea that you could only see the penguins from above. And since now I've been to a few penguin habitats that are walkthrough, I decided later on to make this habitat a walkthrough habitat by putting everything on the same level again. So ignore that it's not the same height as the rest of the terrain, but all of the plants and stones and everything that I've placed, I reduced them and just put them up a bit more. So that's why I am going to show you the footage anyway. Now let's talk a bit about the inspiration for this habitat. Because since this is a city zoo and I am not doing my normal heavy theming here, I was kind of lost. Like, I think I said it in the beginning already, I was fairly lost on how to progress with this zoo since I'm not doing themed habitats. And in the end, I took inspiration from a few real-life habitats that are always trying to emulate the habitats where the animals are originally from, but like not in that heavy seeming that I always do, but more like the rocks and maybe some plants or like things that look a bit like where this animal is coming from. And that's what I was going to do here. So I decided, since I watched a documentary just for this penguin habitat, where exactly are African penguin colonies, and apparently in South Africa there are a few ones, and in the documentary that I watched, there were a few ones that they shown, and I decided I want to go with the penguin colony that's living on Boulders Beach, I think near Simonstown. Like I can just like show you where it is on the screen now, so you can see where we are. And they have these round stones, and the penguins live near that. And I liked that, and I just was trying to emulate that. I think it's a fairly good approach to that. Like, by no means it's 100% accurate, but I liked how it turned out. And also, while I was looking at that documentary and listening about how they are trying to grow the population and stuff, I also said, for this habitat in this zoo, all these penguins are like part of a breeding program. I just searched for the word breeding in English. Sorry about that. So all of these penguins are part of a breeding program, and all the penguins that are old enough to get sent to freedom in the nature again, they get to that colony. So they are in direct communication with each other. At least that's what I'm having in my head. I still need to find a way to put that in the actual zoo, like with signs and stuff. And yeah, I'm not quite sure how I will do that, because I've never done like the real signs, like the one that like all the other people can do, like with like real wording and like pictures and stuff. I've never done that. I'm not even sure if I can do that. So yeah, maybe I will try my best, or I will stick to my usual just putting signs there and writing stuff like that. So I don't know. We'll see. In the documentary, I also saw that they had some nesting thingies, like you see me doing them here right now. And they put them on the beach and on the part of the beach that are a bit more secluded. And they were there so that they had protected nest areas. So yeah, I kind of did the same thing just because I liked them and I liked the idea of them. And they also said in the documentary, what is it with me and that word that I can't really pronounce it? So yeah, they said that the penguins accepted the ones that were already in the sheltered area, like behind some trees and bushes, but not really the ones that are just in the open on the beach. But yeah, put them there anyway, like not really at the more beachy area where I only had like the more dried out plants, but like on the other side where it was a lot greener but still not covered with like shadows and trees and stuff. And now we are at the last part where I do the outside of the habitat. So we are, we did the entrance area for the guests, and as you can see, it is the entrance to the coastlines. I'm not quite sure about that name, but I'm just going to leave it at that. So this area is going to be a few habitats, 3 in fact, and I think you can guess which one I want to incorporate here. And they are going to be representative of different coasts. So obviously with the African penguin we have the African coast, and I also want to have like, I'm not really sure, but like American coast and then maybe European coast or something. I'm not quite sure about that. We'll see about that. And now we will get on to another part of that habitat, and that is the backstage building for the penguins. Although I am sorry to admit this, but for some reason the recording didn't record properly, so I can't really show you all the building process, and we will start with already a building that you can like say it's a building, it's a proper building, it's not like some show or something, so I'm sorry about that. And with that, the habitat is complete. I hope you liked this episode of my city zoo. I would be really happy if you would consider a like, subscribe, or a comment. And with that, all I have to say is I hope we will see each other in the next one. Bye!